Today I will show you how to formulate with shea butter, and I will give you at the end of this video 3 recipes that you can make with shea butter in just under 10 minutes. Hey, it's Malou from Natural Heroes, where we show you how to make natural, vegan and zero waste products in under 30 minutes from the comfort of your own kitchen. We get a lot of questions about this lovely African nut butter on a daily basis. Questions like, how do I make recipes with shea butter that feel less greasy and tacky on the skin? And how do I mask the smell of shea butter? Because let's be honest, not everyone is into the nutty smell of shea butter. So without further ado, let's start with question number 1. Why is my shea butter grainy? The cooling process is crucial when it comes to the consistency of shea butter in recipes. If shea butter cools down too slowly, if you leave it at room temperature, the stearic acid will start to solidify first, creating small grainy crystals that will eventually spread out throughout the entire mixture. And this is basically what causes graininess that we often see in shea butter recipes. The easiest thing to prevent this from happening is to cool down the shea butter quickly and keep it stirring while it's cooling, so that the fatty acids are all mixed together and the stearic acid is cooled down a little bit quicker, and you mix it through the other fatty acids. And then you get this lovely, smooth consistency that we all love from shea butter. So now on to the next question. How to make lightweight shea butter recipes. It's unpleasant to have a heavy oil sitting on your skin for half an hour in the morning before heading to work. To combat the greasiness of shea butter, I personally like to use arrowroot powder or tapioca starch or colloidal oatmeal in my shea butter recipes. These ingredients make the butter feel velvety and less greasy, and it really gives this luxurious feel when you apply it. The next thing I like to do is actually make body butter bars out of shea butter, and I add other butters like cocoa butter or coconut butter again, or I use a fatty alcohol like cetyl alcohol, or some waxes to make it a little bit more solid, so that when you apply it, it feels more moisturizing and it doesn't feel as greasy as if you would only apply shea butter. Then last but not least, the third question is, how do I mask the smell of shea butter? Shea butter has a nutty smell, which I personally love, but many people find it very unpleasant. And yes, it does have a smoky and nutty aroma. However, it's important to note that shea butter should not have a sour or pungent smell. If it does, it means that the seeds were not properly dried during the manufacturing process, and that results in an unpleasant odor. So yes, smoky, nutty, that's good. Pungent, not good. So how do you mask the smell of shea butter? Well, you could go for a couple of options. You could mix unrefined shea butter with refined shea butter to make it less smelly, or you could mix in mango butter, or you can add essential oils to complement the nutty smell of shea butter. Essential oils that work very well with shea butter are usually floral, spicy and citrusy oils. I personally love the combination of lemon with shea butter and vanilla and maybe some clove. It just gives such a luxurious smell, and I don't know, it smells like cake or something. So yeah, just give it a try. So now we've come to the part where I will show you, back in my kitchen, 3 simple recipes with shea butter with all of the above questions in mind. If you are looking for a luxurious body butter that's not too greasy, perfect for extremely dry skin and has a delicious scent, then look no further. This body butter has it all. Shea butter deeply nourishes the skin, rice bran oil has anti-inflammatory properties, and arrowroot powder helps to restore rough and red skin. Plus, if you're not a big fan of the smoky scent of shea butter, don't worry, you won't smell it at all in this body butter recipe. We are making 100 grams of this body butter and are using 25 grams of shea butter and 25 grams of refined shea butter, 10 grams of cetyl alcohol, 30 grams of rice bran oil, 9 grams of arrowroot powder, and a total of 1 gram of essential oil, and in this case I've chosen for the combination of lemon, vanilla and clove. Prepare a double boiler like an bain-marie like this, or place a beaker in a pan with a bit of hot water. Make sure the bain-marie pan hits the water to ensure proper melting. Start by heating the cetyl alcohol. For cetyl alcohol you could use any other similar fatty alcohol in this recipe, or if you don't like to use a fatty alcohol, a hard butter like coconut butter could also work, or a softer wax like berry wax or Miraca fruit wax. When the cetyl alcohol has fully melted, start adding the refined shea butter and unrefined shea butter in the mix and let them melt down completely. I've used refined and unrefined shea butter in this recipe, however you can choose to only use one variety, either unrefined or refined, depending on the end result you would like. Now add the rice bran oil to the melted mixture and stir well. I've used rice bran oil because I really love the skin feel of this fast absorbing oil, but you could substitute for any lightweight oil that you have in your cupboard. Now that everything has melted, it's time to prepare your ice bath. Grab yourself a glass bowl with some ice cubes or cooling elements like I'm using, and place your bain-marie pot above this ice bath and start stirring. Cool down the mixture until it's below 40 degrees so that we can add in our heat sensitive ingredients like our essential oils and the vitamin E oil. I'm adding vanilla CO2 extract, clove and lemon essential oil to make this luxurious vanilla spice smell that I love so much. But you could use any essential oil that you like. Keep stirring your mixture until it becomes solid. Then put the arrowroot powder in a sieve and fold it in the mixture. The arrowroot powder can be exchanged for corn flour or tapioca starch, depending on what you have available. After this, you can whip the body butter with a hand mixer until it becomes fluffy and airy. Now transfer your body butter in a beautiful glass jar. I've chosen this luxurious violet glass jar as it looks very fancy, but you could also use any type of glass jar that you have available. I like to leave this body butter in the fridge in the summer months to ensure it doesn't melt, or in winter time I leave it at room temperature. And there it is, our beautiful vanilla spice body butter. It is so smooth and fluffy, and I can assure you it doesn't smell like shea butter at all. It feels super light on the skin and smells heavenly like vanilla lemon cupcakes. This shea butter body bar is specifically designed for dry skin that needs hydration, but also this bar is very suitable for those cute baby bottoms and pregnant mummy bellies. I love to use this bar on a daily basis during my pregnancy to keep my skin hydrated and smooth while my belly is growing. The bar glides smoothly over the skin, leaving it hydrated and nourished without feeling too greasy. Shea butter is great for healing scars and caring for rough and chapped skin. Cocoa butter not only smells delicious like chocolate, but it also helps with stretch marks and red spots. The coconut oil in this recipe has anti-inflammatory properties, and coconut butter makes this bar firm without making it too greasy. It is the perfect self-care treat. We are making 70 grams of this body butter bar, as it fits in my particular mold. However, if you are using smaller or bigger molds, you might have to increase or decrease the amount of grams in this recipe. For this recipe, we are mixing in 34.3 grams of cocoa butter, 8.4 grams of coconut butter, 11.9 grams of shea butter, 14 grams of coconut oil, 0.7 grams of vitamin E oil, and 0.7 grams of vanilla oleoresin. Prepare a double boiler like an bain-marie like this, or place a beaker in a pan with a bit of hot water. Make sure the bain-marie pan hits the water to ensure proper melting. Start by melting the cocoa butter and the coconut butter. This will take around 5 minutes. So the combination of these butters makes the bar solid at room temperature. Cocoa butter and coconut butter are both hard butters, so if you would like to substitute them with other butters, make sure you use butters that have similar melting points. As soon as the hard butters have melted, it's time to add our shea butter. You could replace the shea butter in this recipe for mango butter or refined shea butter, depending on your preference. Meanwhile, I have added the coconut oil. I'm using coconut oil for its anti-inflammatory properties, but you could also add babasu oil or Manoy de Tahiti here if you like. Now that everything has melted, it's time to prepare your ice bath. Grab yourself a glass bowl with some ice cubes or cooling elements like I'm using, and place your bain-marie pot above this ice bath and start stirring. Now it's time to cool down our mixture until it's below 40 degrees so that we can add in our heat sensitive ingredients like our essential oils and vitamin E oil. Add in the vitamin E oil and stir the mixture. Now you can add in your essential oil. I've chosen vanilla oleoresin because it smells divine, but you could also add in any essential oil that you like. Keep cooling down the mixture until a trace is formed. This is very important. Should you transfer the hot mixture to the mold straight away and put it in the fridge, your bar will not be as smooth and be a lot oilier. By cooling it down before you put it in the fridge, you get the best result possible. Transfer your mixture to a silicone mold and press it down with a spoon. Now leave your bar in the fridge for at least 1 hour until it has completely hardened. I like to leave mine in the fridge overnight. And there you have it, your super smooth, luxurious body butter bar with vanilla. It's great for massages and your quick self-care moments during the day. It feels super hydrating, not too greasy, and it smells like vanilla and chocolate. What more do you want? This body fluff is as soft as whipped cream and super lightweight. It's suitable for all skin types, but particularly great for extremely dry or mature skin. Prickly pear seed oil and collodial oat powder are fantastic for fine lines and have proven to be very soothing for dry and chapped skin. The shea butter in this recipe helps to restore the skin to its natural supple state and leave it smooth and hydrated. The jojoba oil makes this body fluff feel wonderfully soft, deeply moisturizing and not too greasy. This oat and shea body fluff can even be used on the face and is suitable for the most sensitive skin. We are making 300 grams of this oat and shea body fluff and are using 180 grams of shea butter, 45 grams of prickly pear seed oil, 43.5 grams of jojoba oil, 1.5 grams of vitamin E oil, 15 grams of arrowroot powder and 15 grams of collodial oat powder. So this is a cold blended recipe, meaning we don't have to heat our ingredients before we start whipping. Please do check the quality of your shea butter first before you start whipping. If it has a grainy structure, the graininess will still be noticeable in the end result. So please make sure you use a smooth shea butter without grainy bits. Add the shea butter to a bowl and whip it until it becomes airy and turns pale and fluffy. This process usually takes about 5 to 10 minutes. As you can see, I started mixing in a large bowl, but I noticed that I didn't go very well, so I transferred my mixture to a smaller bowl and kept on mixing. If you use a smaller bowl, the shea butter will fluff up much easier. Now slowly trickle in the oils. I've chosen prickly pear seed oil and jojoba oil because they are fast absorbing and feel light on the skin. Also, prickly pear seed oil is heat sensitive, so in this cold blended fluff, this is not a problem. So if you have any heat sensitive oil that you would like to use here, please go ahead and do it. Also, when adding an oil, try to fold it in first before you continue mixing. When you don't do this, the oil will end up all over your kitchen, I promise you. Now start whisking on a high speed again until the mixture turns super fluffy and white. Now it's time to put in the arrowroot powder and the oat powder. Put the arrowroot powder in a little sieve and add it to the mixture. Fold it in with a spoon and add your oat powder to the mix as well. Put it in a sieve and press it through with a spoon and fold it in. As a substitute for arrowroot powder, you could use tapioca flour or cornstarch in this recipe. And the collodial oatmeal can be substituted for an extra starch as well. Now mix the fluff again on a high speed until all starches and powders have incorporated and you can't see any lumps anymore. Now look at this beautiful fluffy shea butter. You just want to eat it, don't you? Now it's time to add our vitamin E oil and mix it in. And there it is, our beautiful oat and shea body fluff. Now it's time to scoop your beautiful fluff into a nice looking jar and give it to someone you love or keep it to yourself. So I've chosen to keep this recipe without any essential oils as I've specifically created this recipe for extremely dry and sensitive skin. And I would like to keep the sensitizers to a minimum when I'm doing that. However, of course you can add any essential oil you like in this recipe. Just make sure you do not exceed a total of 1% of essential oil to avoid skin irritation. Enjoy making!